Welcome everyone to the 8th and the final episode of COVID Care webinar series brought to you by Empezar Wellness and School of Awakening. Today's guest speaker, Mrs. Desiree Punwani, is an EFT therapist, a light worker, and the author of the book In High Spirits. The book itself will be available in 3 weeks' time. And yes, you can purchase that globally. Desiree Ma'am was also the host of our first and many subsequent episodes of the COVID Care series. We express our gratitude to you. Thank you so much, Desiree Ma'am, and a warm welcome to our.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, hello.
I'm sitting with the Bombay skyline behind me, and I'm sure those who belong to Bombay and are not here are feeling very nostalgic. So let me start the concluding session. So when School of Awakening and Empezar Wellness asked me to do this session, the closing session on gratitude, they really put me into I was thinking, I said, what can we do to make this really meaningful, and what can we do to make it relevant to COVID? So here's the thing. All of us understand gratitude by now. Even those who are not practicing gratitude are doing so, because everyone understands that there is so much to be grateful for, even in the face of so many challenges and so many difficulties and so many losses. And usually when we are talking to each other, that is what we focus on. Each one of us is saying, this is the difficulty, but I have so much to be grateful for. So I have called this talk the challenge of commitment. The reason for it is this. Because what I have realized is this, that if we wish to overcome the COVID phenomena, the only way to do it seems to be able to go beyond its bandwidth. So let me try and explain this to you simply. Let us say that the bandwidth of, let us say that the bandwidth of COVID is, say, from 0 to 100. Okay. Now, as long as we are in that phase of 0 to 100, we will keep getting pulled into it and we'll keep being churned. So it depends. Maybe if we are at the 90 level or 95 level, it'll be easier for us. Those who are at the lower level, those who are filled with anxiety, fear, panic, okay, they will find the churning much more. But as long as we are in this band of that 0 to 100, we will always be victim to it. Okay. So what would be the way to transcend? So the way to transcend, for me, the common sense way seems to be that we need to transcend that. So it is not that COVID will not be there, it will not disappear overnight, but we would have crossed that 100 band and we would have gone a little higher so that we do not get affected by it. Now, would it be enough for us just to cross 100? I don't think so, because this is such a powerful vortex almost, that if we are, let's say, at 105, and please, this is just my way of explaining it, okay? This is not any kind of scientific figures or anything like that I'm stating here. So suppose we are at 105, we would still be in a very uncertain zone because we could still get something. All right. So we would have to be substantially higher than that. So how would we do that? So the way to do that, the simplest way to do that would be to increase our vibrational frequency so that we transcend this. So it's pretty much like an aircraft taking off. So when an aircraft takes off, it taxis for a long period of time. And the heavier it is, the longer taxi run it requires, the heavier or the bigger it is. Okay. While it is taxiing, it is building up momentum. Okay. Till it comes to that critical mass. When it comes to that critical point, then it is able to take off. And once it takes off, it clears the whole earth space and it goes up. So same for us. What we will need to do and what we need to do is this. We need first to get into the momentum of it. Okay. So we need to build up on our taxiing. So all the things we are doing just now, and I'm sure most of us are doing it, whether it is different practices like gratitude or faith and trust and kindness or whatever, or whether it is other things like breathing and yoga and all the various things that have been talked in all these sessions which have taken place till now, all this is there to increase the momentum as we are taxiing. But all this makes sense only if we will take off. So what happens to an aircraft that reaches the critical mass and doesn't take off? It then cannot be controlled. It kind of goes haywire. It goes off the runway. And then when the brakes are applied, it will stop where it stops. So for us also, we need to not only come to that point, but we need to be aware of it. We need to come to that point. And when we are at that point, we need to apply that force where we pull the gears back and we can take off. So how does this apply to gratitude? So this is how it applies to gratitude. There are certain vibration levels of our emotions that are at a very high level. Among these are kindness, compassion, gratitude, faith and trust, service, joy, love. All these are at this kind of higher vibrational frequencies. And these are the frequencies that will help us to take off. So what I have chosen for myself, and this is what I'm sharing, I have no technical knowledge about these things. I am sharing for you what I have chosen, what seems to be working, what makes sense. And on the similar lines, I'm encouraging you to choose. So gratitude is a good one to choose. So what happens is as we practice gratitude, we are increasing this momentum, okay? And we are coming to that takeoff point. Now, can you imagine if en masse this were to happen? If thousands and millions of people would simultaneously work with kindness and compassion and gratitude and forgiveness and laughter and joy and love to come to this kind of vibrational frequency where we could take off. It could be a very, very significant solution. So, but for ourselves, what would we need to do? So, for ourselves, what I feel is whichever we choose, whether we choose kindness, whether we choose gratitude, whether we choose compassion, we make a commitment to it. Because we can't halfway, like an aircraft taking out, can't halfway stop and go into another taxi lane. Okay, it has to be on one to take off. It can borrow energy from the winds coming from the other sides. If the winds are in its favor, so if I have chosen gratitude and compassion is also there and kindness is also there, they are like the tailwinds which are pushing me forward. But I must choose one path. Okay, I choose that path and I commit to it. Now, when I'm saying this to you, I'm saying it with so much conviction. And I mean it with so much conviction. But when I'm thinking of it for myself, there is a hand of fear. There is that, fear which is kind of catching me here and saying, are you sure you can do it? And I don't know. But I'm sure of one thing. I'm committed to doing my best. And that is all that is required of us. So what would be required here? It would be required that we commit that irrespective of what happens, I continue to be grateful or I continue to be compassionate or kind or whatever we have chosen, irrespective of what happens. So if I choose kindness and unkindness comes my way, I still choose to be kind. If I have chosen kindness and injustice comes my way, I still choose to be kind. So same thing with gratitude. When I have chosen gratitude, if things come my way, which customarily at a time when I would forget gratitude and go into self-pity, go into confusion, go into panic, into anxiety, I commit to straightening my path. So if I'm swerving, which will happen, I commit to coming back to the straight path. I come back and I trust that the divine tailwind behind me will help me, and I will take off. And I have taken off. And I can be in that place of gratitude while simultaneously dealing with all the challenges and the difficulties which today define our day-to-day life, sometimes are to our life. So in this, why am I suggesting gratitude is that it is the simplest of all of these. And the reason it is simplest is because, see, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, all these require an action from us. If I choose to be kind, I'm required to do something. Whereas with gratitude, I'm only required to acknowledge the silver lining, the one good thing, the 10 good things, the 1,000 good things that are happening. So, and it is an instant. For kindness, I'm still dependent on the response I get from the outside. At least I'm affected by it, but not with gratitude. So gratitude is instantaneous. It requires the least effort, so to speak, from me, and yet it creates that momentum that can help us to take off. But it requires a commitment in the face of fear, in the face of doubt, in the face of I am not sure. It requires us to say, I can, which is improvement, constant and never ending. I continue to do it, knowing that not only I will take off, but my example can inspire countless other people to make that same commitment. So this, in brief, is the commitment required from us at this time of the COVID pandemic. I would like really to finish this with a quotation. I think I know it by heart, but let me just keep it open. Oh, it's not there. Okay, I'll just say it to you from. So this is the last few lines of the chapter on gratitude from my book, the forthcoming book, In High Spirits, From Hopelessness to Shining Self. So it says, gratitude is like a beloved. She will not be taken for granted. The more we woo her, the more she responds to us and reveals to us, bit by bit, her refinements. Every time I feel I know her well, she reveals to me a deeper and more beautiful side of herself. She is now my permanent love interest. I pursue her, she responds to me. I love her, she loves me back. And this is why, my dear friends, I ask you to choose gratitude, because gratitude is responsive. The moment we engage with her, the moment we woo her, the moment we invite her into our lives, she brings with her an energy and a light that empowers us and that gives us the confidence that, yes, I can take my vibrational level to the point where I can get out of the bandwidth of the COVID. And by doing so, I can encourage others to do the same. So go forth, take off, and with yourself, lift others as well. Thank you so much for being here this evening, for being part of this concluding talk on empowerment to cope with COVID. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Desiree, ma'am, for showing us a different aspect of gratitude. And we know that very soon you are going to conduct a workshop on gratitude. Can you please share with all of us some details?
Yes. So, yeah, I should have talked about it. So, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that starting tomorrow, uh, we start off with just focusing on gratitude. One statement a day. I would like to put out one statement a day, and I've tried to focus on the most subtle aspects of gratitude. And then we can take this forward for whatever days, maybe 40 days, 50 days, whatever, where we are sort of deepening our practice of gratitude. I was going to say where we are having a gratitude bath because it sounds so good in this heat. Okay. So, where we are deepening our practice, and of course, having this gratitude bath. And once we are immersed in it, I really would like for those who are enjoying it and those who would like to deepen the practice still further to do a few gratitude intensives. So the gratitude intensives would go beyond journaling, would go beyond into, not only deepening our practice, but also making gratitude instead of a noun, making it a verb in our life, making it an action word in our life. So the plan in my head is that we should first start off. So those people who'd like to be in the group, I already have a prayer group on which we share these things. I would like to start tomorrow. And then we share these all around. I plan also to make the same statements in Hindi and English. So if there's a Hindi group that would like to do it as well. And then these, as we are deepening it, when the time seems right, we can do a few, maybe 2 hour or 2.5 hour, something like that, intensive workshops so that we can take this to the next level. So that's the plan.
That sounds so exciting. Thank you so much, Desiree Ma'am, for your time and for sharing your wisdom on gratitude. And we very much look forward for the challenge that is starting tomorrow. And dear listeners, the ladies and gentlemen, this is the last episode of the COVID Care webinar series. But the show must go on, and we are very happy to announce that the new talks are coming soon. Please see what's coming up in May. You can see that on the slides, and do watch out for the further announcements. We are very much look forward to you joining us for the future programs. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, and God bless everyone. We share the benefits of whatever merits we have earned today with all beings everywhere. Thank you so much.